Phoenix kind of always has like a warehouse scene, you know, for like pretty much like just, I don't know, just DIY shows and punk scene and all that shit. Phoenix just had a good scene, but it's always like every 5 years or so, there'll be like a bunch of sick ass bands that'll come out, and then like everything just dies off for a bit. But I mean, it's never like a steady thing going on. We're just pumping out bands, but Phoenix has came with a lot of good fucking bands over the years. Warfare, fucking shit, ever since I first heard that band, they were like God to me. I always fucking listen to them, and still to this day. They influenced me a lot when I started playing grindcore. Actually, did vocals for that band Sonata for a little bit, and then went back to the bass player. First band was RTS out here, and then I ended up playing in Magnum's Force early on. Throughout like all their more power violent shit. As far as I'm concerned, Midwest always holds down grindcore for, you know, the United States or whatever. Tim Calloway, who also was in Sonata for a bit, he's in that band. That guy's a fucking sick ass dude. But yeah, I mean, we've had a pretty decent scene out here.
I'm Tim, the Colonel, bass and vocals and songwriter. scene's actually, we've been around 10 years and it's a lot cooler now than it was when we started. I think when we started, there was a kind of a period where a lot of venues were closing and a lot of bands were breaking up. We've gotten lucky too to get put on some bills with some really big bands. Like we got to open for Entombed, we got to open for Napalm Death and Flagstaff. Like, so yeah, it's been cool.
Play fast, grindy kind of death metal kind of stuff. A little bit of everything. I don't know, we go from a little bit of like, I mean, when we say a little bit of everything, we definitely like, it's across the board. We have like a little bit of like D-beat stuff, we got a little bit of death metal,
D-beats,
blasting. It's definitely a mixed bag, you know. There's some shows that are small, some with a couple people. Sometimes it's shows like this where there's like a surprising amount.
On weekends, people show up. It's fun. It's always a party in Portugal and shit.
There's beer and weed, people show up.
Yes.
Sure.
Like early on had a lot of like kind of black metal, not as much anymore, but so I guess our biggest influence, like early stuff, would have been Emperor, like Emperor meets Morbid Angel. As it progressed, I feel like the Emperor kind of went away a little, and the kind of dissonant style came along. Kind of, you know, like your Immolation or later Gorguts era sort of stuff. I think, like I said, early on there was a big black metal influence, and then going into Tyranny, which was our first full length. David Rogers put it out on Battleground Records. That still had a lot of black metal, but it kind of was starting to find the identity a little bit more. We've kind of been plagued with a lot of like lineup changes and periods of inactivity, and then you know, between Tyranny, which was our first full length, and then the second full length, Sea of Duress, like it was just me and Garrett, our bass player. Sea of Duress, which was the first Unique Leader Records album, that was really where we kind of started to kind of get the identity, I feel like. Fluids is the most fun project that I'm in.
Crimes and acts of corruption do you estimate you committed as a New York City police officer?
Hundreds.
Real quick, that got hype. So like Lago, I'm the guy that runs everything. Fluids, I don't do shit. I show up, I drink beer, and I do vocals. To me, it's almost like it would be like a punk rock Mortician. It has that Mortician vibe, but like, so all of our samples, that's real. There's nothing fake about it. So you had Mortician was doing the horror samples and all that, and our shit's like Cartel. It's kind of, it's fucking disturbing to listen to, even for me. Like, I'm not like a total gore guy, but just even to listen to the stuff, I'm on the damn thing, and like, it's kind of unnerving. It's not just a gimmick for a horror film. We're touching on some real shit. So, you know, listen if you can handle it, I guess.
My name is Nathan Earhart. I am the vocalist for He Who Binds Himself and Vehemence.
Mark Kozubak, bass player, Vehemence, He Who Binds Himself.
The band started as two guitar players from guitar class in high school. You're talking mid-90s.
So at the time for me, I was at U of A going to school, and I thought I would try this out. But once we jammed and like how cool it was like, dude, this is something that is really fucking special, right? We were playing local shows, but we were playing like with national acts.
Right.
So we were playing Suffocation, Morbid Angel, Deicide. We were hitting up Cannibal. Like, we were hitting up all those shows, you know, just to kind of get on anything that we could.
Kind of focus on creating a better earning potential for myself, taking promotion at work, create a better life for my family. They was continuously growing at that point. I was up to a couple of kids in that era, 2004.
At the time, didn't understand. Now, I understand.
Right. So
at the time, I wanted to be like, fuck you, Nate.
Right. Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? It's our band, bro.
He who binds himself being
Joy.
right. So it's kind of like if you love something.
Who wrote that?
William Blake. So
your son's name?
So William Blake, well, my middle name, right? So the William Blake poem that the name is derived from is Eternity, and it's he who binds to himself a joy, does the winged life destroy.
What's
But
that?
he who kisses the joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise. And my personal,
it's hard. It was a hard thing to kind of be like, should we keep trying to do this without him? And to be honest, so we did tours without Nathan.
Right.
And we had a couple different vocalists, and you know what? We had some good shows, and I had some good times, but to be honest, it wasn't the same. And the people, the fan base we had created with Nathan, they, you know, they liked it, but they missed Nathan too.
So you guys may have seen the video for this song on our website, vehemence.com. This song is called By Your Bedside.
He's a personality that, you know, I've never met anybody else like him. Like the way he can connect with people and, you know, just that one-on-one, you know, connection with the fans. You can't teach somebody that.
No.
I don't know how many of you badasses have got our new fucking album yet. Couple of you. We got about 6 of you here tonight. Good.
Interestingly, that was kind of a psychological left turn for me, because starting Hugh Binds himself, you're starting
Get a rebuild.
from the ground up, and you realize what the feeling of is nobody really gives much of a shit at all,
Yeah.
right?
You know why? Because like you didn't have me in that band.
Yeah.
And that's
one of the original death metal bands from Arizona. Besides us, at the time, we had Nuclear Death and Rawside, Excessive Bleeding. From there, this place kind of turned into a hotbed for death metal. But before that, it was your normal Arizona State. Nobody was really doing that out here at the time. You know, you had it going on in California, Florida, Europe, but what a better place to make death instead of death. I thought it was a great start. the thing about today's death metal and 1990s death metal was no band really sounded alike. Like, you know, Morbid Angel or Suffocation or on and on, Terrorizer. Nobody sounded the same. Now today I think everybody sounds the motherfucking same. And I'm not just saying in this stage, but in realms. What we did was we took all our best interests from like Creator, Candlemass, Malevolent Creation, in tune, and we just kind of mixed that up into a hodgepodge, and then it became what it was. And we all started. There was really only one club, it was the Mason Jar, and a lot of people bonded there. And if you were cool, everybody gelled together, and you sold enough tickets, you could open for just about anybody. Deicide, Morbid Angel, Incantation, Immolation, Suffocation. We were all brothers, man. And that was just a cool thing to do, was hang out, and drink beer, smoke pot, and try to see what you could come up with, see what kind of noise you can make in this world. And some of us did, and some of us didn't.
So we went to a party, some daytime party where he was playing in a Rush cover band.
Me?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's when we went and saw you play for the first time.
No. Yeah, there's an ad, I guess, in the New Times, and I called it up, and I thought it was some little 13, 14-year-old dude, and it wound up being a chick when I drove up there. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense for the little boyish voice.
For Lori?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. It was a gimmick. The whole thing with Nuclear was it was a female vocalist doing the death stuff, which she could do.
And some of the opera. It's just fun to, being a three-piece is really, get a lot more freedom to really express yourself and ask the other people to express themselves too.
Recording in the studios here sucked because we were trying to do death metal grindcore.
Before it was even called that.
Yeah.
Before it was even called that.
We called it noise. I called it noise, and or horror music, whatever you want to call it. But when we went to the studios, they weren't quite sure how to record it because it was something they weren't ever used to.
the hard part is, like, to me, is what I like, what I strove for, and didn't get it in the studio, but I wanted to hear the speaker like go. That's what I wanted to hear when it came to the blast.
I just wanted the music, everything good,
and
they just did shitty jobs.
And so they would get scared that even if you do a regular recording, like let's say every time the snare hits, it always goes into the red. It's pap, pap.
Yeah.
And I would do so many snare hits, you would just see like that, and they're like, oh, you got to take it down, and so they would clip it and cut it so that there was never anything high, like a regular recording would be.
They were so afraid. And then how many years later? What is that? 25 years later, when I learned to record with the software, everything sounds like it should. This is how I wanted to sound back then. This is how everything should have sounded back then.
There was no help. I mean, if we said that, we play pretty heavy and fast, maybe like Guns N' Roses, and you're just you're like, okay,
dissonant.
Stop listening.
Dissonant meaning that the music was off-sounding on purpose, so that it lent an air, an atmosphere of weirdness. My favorite too was the mothers who complained, or people that complained and wrote in mail that were offended by the lyrics. why didn't I write love songs? Was the big thing. Why don't you write like love songs? And like, but yeah, because the lyrics, there were. I tried to no holds barred on the lyrics, push the envelope, step over the line.
Yeah.
There were some songs we didn't use.
I'd like to introduce right now a band all the way from fucking Arizona. Let's
Cheers.
Y'all motherfuckers don't even know what the fucking to say. I'm gonna take a motherfucking ass anyway. Take a fucking ass, take it down to the ground. Tell you what the fuck, how it's all about.
My name's Rich. I'm the singer of Pelvic Meatloaf, and that's me.
Take it down right now. Take it down. Take it down right now. Take it down. Down right now. Take it down. Take it down.
Yada yada yada. We just started playing for free beer everywhere, parties every weekend, and eventually started learning how to play some tunes. And once we kind of learned how to play, and we could play the songs that we liked, then we started trying to fucking write the songs that we liked, you know. And it kind of went from there. Started playing out in the clubs and trying to do a little thing. But the club scene was really fucking interesting back then, early '90s. None of those clubs are around anymore in Arizona. You know, they're all shelf life on a live music venue. Unfortunately, it's only a few years. But we used to play at the Mason Jar. Boston's was a big one that we played at a lot. A place called Club Rio. Another place called After the Gold Rush, which became the Electric Ballroom. That was awesome to play there because I saw Mr. Bungle there. I saw fucking Pantera there and Sacred Reich and all these bands, man. It was a great place to play. I was stoked to be able to be on those stages. But shows were a lot different back then. People could smoke indoors, and so anywhere you played, you know, if you weren't a smoker, you smelled like one when you got home. And it was $3 to get in, you know. We ended up developing a pretty good following, even though we weren't that good, because we used to take any money that we would make from shows and we would pool it and buy kegs. And the thing was, come out to our show and then you can come drink with us for free afterwards. You know, so we'd always do that. And then we started doing desert parties and renting generators. We had friends that did construction. They were framers, and they'd steal a bunch of wood from construction sites, and they'd go out and build us a stage out in the middle of the fucking desert. We'd put out flyers with a map on it, and people would show up out there to the desert, and we'd have a stage with a generator and kegs, and
goddamn, it's my fucking birthday. We're having a good ass time.
I was not interested when he tried to brag about how cool his band was. But then I got to know him better. They ended up losing a guitar player. I ended up doing a party with him at his band at the time. He's like, just bring your shit and we'll figure it out. And I was like, what? But yeah, I did. And we had a hell of a good time. And then I was asked to join the band, but yeah, that was late 1990. And then from there, he and I kind of rebuilt the band into something, I don't even know how to put it. I'm like, we need to fire this guy and this guy. And it was, that was kind of the beginning. After we got the ball rolling, we added a couple players that I felt were going to help us move things along. But even from there, it was a total evolution. We didn't really become, we hadn't really even found our identity until about 95, 96. And by that point, we'd gone through, I don't know, 3 drummers, at least 2 bass players. Yeah, that's what it's like being in a band. It's like a business to some extent. And it sucks when you gotta fire your friends, but we had to do that to kind of move things along. And that's kind of how it went early on. So.
Let's all drink up and have some fun tonight, huh?
Egregious act. This is Chad.
Are we surprised?
Chad, that exception.
You got a lot of songs to play tonight.
Worldwide legion of devotees to underground heavy metal.
Like 2013, took the light rail down to Tempe Tavern and saw these guys standing there. I started talking to them. I said, "What's your vest?" So they're like, "It's MIDM. We're Arizona. It's AZDM, and we do metal."
I'm Nigel Luzerman, Vice President, PXDM Chapter. This is Phil.
Phil Hunter.
He's our captain.
Captain of PXDM. I've been here quite a while.
Our Wild West region, Jeff Becerra from Possessed is our regional president.
NYDM, man, has been so supportive of Possessed and me.
Yeah, I mean, we're all family. If somebody needs something, we will try our best to help.
Mark's our enforcer. Gumby, you have to show him your beautiful face too.
I don't have one of those.
I just here. It's getting kind of gay right now.
A little bit.
You know, you can come here, you can crash. I'm gonna go to California, let's say. I'm gonna hit up someone in that city and go, hey, let's meet. It's good to know we have someone to go, hey.
Spider. This is our Spider right here.
Secretary.
She makes sure that we know what the fuck is going on when we don't know what the fuck is going on.
Give him a fucking hug.
Let's put it this way, it's definitely a better change for us. My newest baby right there.
I'm Rob, and this is Larry.
He's the lead guitarist, I fake guitars.
I fake it too, man. We're in a band called Single Finger Theory. We're out of Tucson, Arizona. It's fucking great, man. It's a real great scene, real great crowds, man. We play with so many amazing musicians, man. It's crazy, you know. It's hard to even believe. I mean, if you look at our walls, man, there's all our flyers of amazing bands we played with, man. It's been great. You can't even describe it, man. There is something about being on a stage and being in front of a crowd, man, that you can't compare it to anything. You just have to experience it.
That demo is available for free download on our Bandcamp.
Lael, guitar, vocals, Olden. It's been a pretty crazy ride. Definitely an interesting experience, and one thing that I always loved about NYDM is the level of support, you know, at the shows. You know, it seemed like before I joined AZDM, Arizona Death Militia, NYDM, I would go to shows and see the patches, you know, and always wondered what it was about. And they brought me in and kind of put me on the path to prospect, and I was voted in, and the rest is history. You know, you meet NYDM members everywhere you go. You know, went to Germany for Wacken Open Air last year and ran into NYDM in Germany. I mean, we were international, so it's very, very cool.
You said you're about 2.5 years now?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be about 2 years. Was it, we're in May now. It'll be 2 years for me in August.
Yep, September will be 3 years for me.
Yeah, so, you know, 2 years, you know, you just know you're taken care of wherever you go, especially being in a band,
right.
Touring. You don't have, touring can be hard, you know, money's tight, having a place to stay.
Welcome back to Cranium Radio. It's the Tuesday Night Virus here with DJ Jeff. That was Motorhead with Heartbreaker. How's everyone doing tonight? Hope you guys are enjoying your Tuesday, staying safe. We got tons of listeners in the chat room. And if you're not in the chat room, come join us in the chat room here at craniumradio.com. Cranium Radio, we're an internet radio station. We play a variety of music
We have live DJs every night of the week, covering thrash metal, death metal, punk, industrial, post metal, and everything in between. We're 365, 24/7, which means basically anytime you tune in to Cranium Radio, you're going to hear good music. We also cater to the underground bands, the unsigned bands here at Cranium Radio. You know, I think one thing about our station is we're a variety station. We're not locked into just playing one genre of music. And basically every DJ has their own library of music that is specific to their show that they use. So the station has a variety of music due to the volume of music that each DJ has and their specialty.
Hi, I'm Kim Moreau with 13th Floor Entertainment. Basically, I book bands. On a local level, I'll find a date and just move forward to have a show. We have a great music scene. I think it's exceptional. But we've always had a great music scene. I can't remember a time when we haven't. We have bands in every single genre that are just as good as bands on different labels on a national level. So our local bands are great. I think our scene is awesome. You can tell a really good scene by how many venues we have in town. You know what I mean? Whether it's national or local, we have exceptional venues as well. They're great. One of my favorite shows was last year, and it was on my birthday, and it was the Sacred Right Violence Excel show, and it was exceptional, and the crowd sang me happy birthday because it was my birthday.
What's up, Arizona? Larry Horvath here. Was one of the 3 people who worked on Southwest Terror Cluster. One of the great things about the North Southwest Terror Fest is we did things that we wanted to see. You know, we didn't pick like, well, this is going to sell 1 million tickets and this is going to do this. Right? You know, it was basically, by fans, for fans, just picking out. Well, you know what's really crazy is there was never that many huge hiccups. Like, we were really lucky in the fact that the 3 of us and the people that volunteered and did work around us were just amazing.
I'm Rocco DeGrazia. I have a pizza place here in Tucson. I've been playing rock and punk rock in Tucson since I moved here in '92, and still playing. I'm with Shit Knife right now. But you know, when I open a pizzeria, I don't mind giving back when I can. It's a great place to live and a great place to work.
I'll leave the gate open, or I'll leave it.
My name's Lenny Mental. I'm in the band The Besmirchers. I've been in the Besmirchers for 15 years. I was in my first Tucson band back in '82, Civil Death. After that, a few years later, I was in Useless Pieces of Shit. And then Rodeo Jesus, the Sophistifucks, and since then this band now, my current band, the Besmirchers. I've been into punk rock since the mid-'70s with the Ramones and the New York City punk band. And then the English thing happened, the English damage shit. And I got into the Sex Pistols, Eater, a whole slew of English bands. And then, of course, LA hit, and that was the hardest shit. And that's when I really was sold with the Germs and Nip Drivers and a million other great fucking bands.
Yo, what up? We're Napalm Strike. We're from Tucson, Arizona. The band was established in 2012.
2012, yeah. We've had some different members come in and out, but this is it now. You know, fucking, we're here, we're doing it, we're still alive.
We have, oh man. Well, there's a lot of big love that we have for a lot of bands here in Arizona. Gate Creeper, I love those dudes. Phoenix is where it's at here. Unless you're a hardcore band, the metal scene down here is usually restricted to house shows, DIY shows, like I was saying earlier. But I mean, yeah, Tucson has been pretty dead for thrash overall. There's only a couple bands that come from here. Aftermath, Atrophy, those really the big ones here.
But we're talking about the 80s now.
Yeah. And that's what we try to emulate. We love that sound, the 80s thrash sound. Sacred Ride, Violence, all the old school stuff, 80s from California and Arizona.
That's pretty much our goal, is to play specifically 80s thrash metal. Yeah.
I'm Andy Leto. I used to promote shows around the Tucson area, and I'm actively playing bass for Intia Enemiga. And the very, very first show I legitimately booked was with Stormcrow, Vanished Twin, and Wallace. It was a phenomenal show. I could not even believe I packed such a small little venue up with so many people and have about the most heaviest show. Also, I've booked shows for War Torn, Nux Vomica, MDC, La Grita from Mexico, Finisterre from Germany. So many bands, Embers from Oakland.
My name is Mark Beef, and I've lived in Tucson now for, 32 years. I lived in Nogales, Sonora, or Arizona, but on the border, 10 years before that. Moved to Arizona in 1980 from Chicago. I've been coming up here since before then, going to shows and hanging out with people and being somebody in the scene, whatever. When I moved up here, there was a thing called the Tucson Action Corps that we would book shows and help find venues to have shows at. So I joined up with them and was helping them do stuff. Got Neurosis to come out here and play, and a bunch of other shows. Vision Quest was a thing where like parents would send their like troubled kids to, and basically like taking them out in the wild, making them fend for themselves, and they'd like discover like, oh, I don't want to do drugs anymore, and I want to obey my parents. Well, this kid who is like the singer of this band, Channel 88, got sent out to it by his parents, went out somewhere in the fucking Pacific Ocean and got eaten by a shark. So that was like the end of that band. And there's been like a ton of fucking bands since then. And all those bands like Civil Death, UPS, they were like, there's just been ever since, like, there's always been like the garage scene, and that was kind of big in the 90s. The Fells, Weird Love Makers.
We were pretty, throughout Lunacy and Beelzebub's, bouncing around the Mason Jar, Boston's, just every little place we could play. It was mainly house parties. We did a lot, locally. We're definitely part of the punk scene. Lunacy would open up for bands like the Dickies and Mentors and Lunachicks and Dead Horse, and that was really kick-ass.
Hi, my name's Tom Sheldon from the Hooker Cops, several other bands. So the Phoenix Hooker Cops started out back in 1997. We had some of those little jam rooms. I was also in this band called Earache.
I'm Snacks. I do the vocals for Conflict Resolution.
My name's Chris. I'm on Conflict Resolution guitarist.
Rich, Conflict Resolution, bass. Started this 20 years ago and we're fucking loving it. Fucking old school 80s thrash, old school 80s punk. Yeah. I mean, that's what we're into. We grew up on it. That's pretty long way.
This band,
All the shit that was coming out of New York, Sick of It All, Murphy's Law.
Conesuckers, I had some fun. I love hardcore. I went through my hardcore phase. Love death metal. I love death metal. Swedish death metal's the best.
Swedish death metal. Just a whole host of fucking badass bands that were coming out of Tucson in the 80s, and then even here. Yeah, but it's good that there's bands that, you know, that stop playing that are coming back, you know. You know, everybody's just like, now's the fucking time to do it because everything's just so fucked up.
Right.
Everybody's getting inspired again because, you know, these are the times that we were talking about when we were kids, that they were just concepts when we were kids and we were talking about it, but then now it's actually real, and now we have to deal with it, you know?
God, things are fucked up. How are we gonna fix this now? Okay.
Or not fix it. I don't know, dude.
So like the punk scene, when I started going to shows, early 90s, it was, it makes today's stuff seem really tame. It was scary, it was violent to a 15-year-old to walk into a room and see 30, 40, you know, bonehead hammerskins, and them just owning everything was pretty crazy. And from what I hear from the people older than me is that that was nothing compared to the 80s. Some stuff ended up happening. Somebody got thrown down an elevator shaft. People going out windows, stabbings, etc., and they finally kind of started running off the neo-Nazis out of the scene. Became a lot safer. I started really getting involved in hardcore, which really had a no tolerance policy for any kind of that stuff. So I kind of disappeared mid-90s. You'd see some you know, Nazis at shows every once in a while, but they get chased out real fast. It was just it was a great time. It was a more innocent time. It was a scarier time, but it was a blast. I don't know. You kind of had to be there to really understand.
My name is Tom Reardon. The Northside Kings from about 2002 to when we played our last couple shows in 2008 as well. I was there for the Danzig Punch.
This is an argument caught on camera phone. It was backstage after a concert in Tuba City, Arizona back in '04 between Glenn Danzig, the guy on your right, and then Danny Marianino. Glenn shoves Danny. Danny returns with a punch.
And I've been playing music in this town since 1987, and in Phoenix, that is. And I've also been writing about music for about the last 8 years for various publications as well. And a great thing that has been over the last decade as well is this town has been growing up, and shows that used to be the same 40 people sometimes are now, those similar shows are the same, now 400 people or more. There's more people who are willing to go out and see cool bands. And 2013, Phoenix New Times reached out to me and said, hey, you know, we need some writers. Are you interested in writing? And I said, sure. Started writing for them, doing interviews with all different kinds of people, pitching usually bands that I liked. There's some great benefits to writing because you get to go to the shows for free typically and then talk to people you admire. So I've written for Tucson Weekly, LA Weekly, even did a couple things for Alternative Press, written for Echo Magazine here in Phoenix, Java. There's always been a great metal scene here, but there you know, there wasn't always a huge crowd that would show up to see, like a band like Gate Creeper, who rules. Their shows are awesome. But, you know, 20 years ago, a band like that might have been lucky to pull in 50 people. You know, and you wouldn't know about them either. So, I think I like, you know, going to see shows. It's great, the energy, seeing great bands, and seeing, you know, your family of music friends that are there too.
This person. I'm gonna shoot you so bad. My dick's hard.
So growing up in Mesa in like 5th grade, I met up with Sebastian, bass player in Sandbreaker. You know, we were doing covers and things like that, but couldn't really take it seriously. And with the golden age of the internet, I posted on Facebook, and first 3 dudes that said they were down became Sandbreaker in 2013. 4 guys that wanted to commit, you know. Fast forward to 2015, a completely different lineup with Kicking Ass, put out Beating Into Belief 2015, which is really just a combination of all our influences of like thrash, grindcore, maybe some hardcore and stuff in there, just pretty much everything that we were witnessing on the weekends when we go to shows. I mean, Arizona in general has always been huge for extreme metal, and you know, we couldn't just ignore not to be influenced by that stuff that we're seeing every day. It's just a hot breeding ground of, you know, all these great different elements of extreme metal and punk and everything in between, and we just kind of took all that and assessed it and pretty much stayed true to our roots, and it is what it is now. I think the number one thing I like most about the metal community is, even if you go to a show alone, you don't really go to a show alone. You're bound to run into somebody you know, or at least meet someone who's cool. I mean, you're all there for the same thing anyways. That's the best part about, I think, being in a band too, playing music for people that appreciate it, and having people that really dig your band. It just drives you, you know, and going on the road, playing your own music for people, and meeting cool people along the way. It's always a plus. We get along together, and we mosh together, and we put out some great fucking music. And I'm proud to be a part of that.
Dude, looks so good.
Will somebody buy the drummer's girlfriend a beer so we can get to the drummer?
We are scattered fucking gods, and it is awesome to be
Yeah, there's all kinds of stories here. We've me and Vance, the drummer, we lived here for about 9 years now, 8 or 9 years. We lived here for quite a while. We used to have some pretty good little house parties here. Had a lot of good bands over the days play here. False Flag, Lethal Dosage from Tucson. Had really good times here. We had a mosh pit in the living room. Right when we got the house moved in, mosh pit in the living room, cracked the freaking tile over there. It was awesome. But yeah, a lot of good times here. This is our practice room. It's been added to a lot over the years, but not really changed. There's a lot of shit. You could probably just spend a week just looking at stuff. I got Vance that fucking flag up there for Christmas, and he opened up in front of the family, and he put it away really quick. I come from the pre-internet era. I come from an era where you couldn't look up on Facebook, you couldn't look up on YouTube a band, crazy metal band that you wanted to find. You had to actually go to a show, talk to somebody, find a flyer that somebody handed to you personally. That, in that era, stuff wasn't as big as it is now, and it's kind of cool as it is now because we have such easy access to that. You had to find bands and music on your own. And when you found something, you were like, I found something good. You kept it like this, just like here. It's like, I found something. It is so cool to be able to go to another town and get to peek into their world, to their friends, to their lifestyles.
Yeah, so Scattered Guts. I've been playing in Scattered Guts for a little over 11 years. Played drums for the band. One of the original guys. I think I am the original guy left in the group these days. I'm also the drummer of Saint Breaker. I've seen a lot of growth. You know, I'm not the oldest dude in the metal scene. I'm not the youngest. You know, somewhere in the middle as far as the last like 20, 30 years. It's crazy, man. Like the Arizona metal scene, music scene, like whatever, is not just the bands and the different genres, the different areas in town and all that stuff. I think it's also the venues and the promoters. All these people have a lot to do with it. But I think it's grown a lot in the last 10 years, and there's like a ton of fucking bands that have been like just killing it, man. And it's pretty cool to see that shit. I'm Vance. I play drums in Scattered Guts.
I'm Zach. I play guitar in Scattered Guts.
Pee Wee Herman. I sing in Scattered Guts.
I'm Matthias. I play bass.
It's Alan. I play 6 of the strings.
Just 6 of them? We always get a good reaction from the crowd.
Yeah, like I'm the newest guy in Guts, but it's just like every show we play anywhere locally, it's like all the people treat us really well.
But yeah, everybody's cool. Everyone's awesome. Shows are awesome. People, the live fucking show is just the shit.
No, that's good. Yeah, the 5 of us, every time we get on stage, like, you know, we're all there in the moment together. The first time we did No? Oh shit, dude.
We'll just do it down.
I feel good.
I think we made him puke.
I had transferred to a new store when I used to work at Chipotle, and our then drummer Randy, he was like, "Hey man, you know, well my band needs a bassist," and I was like, "Well I can play bass." And then so we
cue to 5 years later. That's all you're playing.
That's yeah, dude. I'm
player. Dude came over, played bass, and you know we tried out so many bass players before that just they didn't know how to play. They didn't know how to play anything. At that point, it was just me and Matt, and we were just like struggling.
Well, that's after we fired Randy. We all
I know. Like we just it was just like a slow climb to get Black Phantom to actually be a thing. it was like a lot of people coming and going before Matt joined, and then it kind of like, it was a mess.
You know, we went on Craigslist and we found a drummer, Brent, who was our original. Which was funny because Vance replied.
Oh shit! Right.
Vance replied to an email, and I didn't find this out until after joining.
I didn't find this out for so long. No, you didn't find it out until I joined. You didn't
tell me that. But then, yeah,
I didn't know.
Whatever.
Vance almost joined Black
It's
Panther.
a small fucking world. We would have been
Not knowing that.
We would have been a much better.
Oh, that's when we were nothing.
We played our very first show at the Spring Fling for fucking Superior Booking. And my God, was that awful? And we were awful, and we just kind of spent some time getting.
Yeah, it was a first gig.
But then, like, you know, fast forward to the future, you know, we started playing some more shows, and we're getting better, and you know, we're in Black Phantom, and it just turned out to be a much better thing than whatever I thought it was going to be, because I honestly didn't think we'd ever get that far.
That's the shit show of Black Panther.
Fucking, that's all we've ever been is a shit show.
And it's all we'll ever be.
That's all we are now, it's just a shit show.
But it sounds great.
Yeah. I think every band's a shit show most of the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think underneath like all the shit, like underneath the shows and all that stuff, I think it's all a shit show. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure. You know?
It's good to be here tonight, man. I haven't been in this building since it was the Mason jar. So like fucking 2004 or some shit. I don't know, man. But it's good to be here. The Rebel Lounge, this is fucking rock. Fuck yeah. Thanks for being here with us, man. Fuck yeah.
What's up, motherfuckers? I'm Mike from Motive. Known Steve from Motive for, I don't know, like a decade before I joined Motive.
Keep this rock and roll train moving. Right there. This song's called Digital Slave.
I'm Steve Bushart. I started Motive in the summer of '99 with Julius Sicotti, some guys from Native Blood, and my former band Travail. And then we put it together, came up with Motive. That was summer of '99. Hundreds and hundreds of shows. Things have gone well as a whole, you know, to be an independent band this long. It's gone well, you know, so here we are in 2019, you know. We've got this album out called Fight the World. You know, it's the 20th year of Motive, and at the same time, you know, we've got fresh blood in the band. We got Wyatt here on the drums. Intricate artwork done by Diablo Macabre, Diego Garza. And on the album cover, Fight the World, the whole thing is about, you know, mankind. We've been fighting on all kinds of the same stuff. You know, we got land, religion, war, oil. Then we've got some modern things in here, computers, technology. The idea, Fight the World, is like a protest against all the fighting. Like that's ridiculous, you know?
Be your own self, man.
So Fight the World, man. It's metal. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Larry Tiemann, and I own Shirts and Things. Seen a lot of changes in the local metal scene, the local funk scene. We started in 1989. My kids love music. My wife loves music. I love music. And you come here because you love music. We have some celebrities and athletes as customers, but when they come in here, they want to talk music, they want to talk movies, they want to talk sports. Like, we're in this wonderful place that we just love music. And of course, we do the punk and the classic rock. We do a lot of horror stuff. And over the years, we've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of people who are into horror, a lot of actors, and kind of put Mesa on the map. So.
My name's Ron. I'm Slice.
Kenny.
Chris. And we've been at this about a year now, right? Right? Like almost a year?
Something like that, yeah.
About a year, so. But we came together because
I met this guy. Fucking, he came back from the East Coast, and then like, fucking, I knew this bastard for fucking years.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right.
First band I've ever been in doing vocals, and actually anything outside of doing drums is the first project ever. And overall, we're more of like a straight death metal. We don't fuck around. He writes some solos to it, but it's still heavy.
But anyway, we're Ischemia.
And we are.
We'll be at a local venue somewhere in Arizona.
We'll catch you there. Catch you there. Shit's coming.
Party.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great run.
We've had
great shows, great bands, met a lot of fucking super cool people in the scene, and from thrash to hardcore to death metal to grindcore to fucking any type of metal you can imagine. It's killing out here right now.
He Who Binds Himself, Warhead, Pelvic Meatloaf,
fucking Nooses, killer band coming up.
And the venues, the promoters, oh man, like places like we played our last show, oh man, you'll never get that in any other state.
Crusty
Palms, you'll never get that
Tap
in any
Room,
other state.
Club Red.
This place just has it, man. This is a
Palo Verde Lounge. Don't forget
Palo
about
Verde,
it.
man. Don't forget the P, the Dirty
classic.
Birdie, baby.
The Dirty Birdie.
Fuck yeah. What the fuck is up with this shit?
What's up, Tempe? How the fuck we doing tonight?
Chill the fuck out, dude. Chill the fuck out and I'm fucking saying, have some fucking respect for this place. The fuck, man? The fuck, no! Get the fuck out! The fuck!
We do sludge death, or death sludge, however you want to go about it. Yeah, our friend Gabe, he did the artwork, and it was some of the best stuff we've seen. We've always had trouble with that stuff, so just heavy, death, die, hurry up. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes we bicker, sometimes we have the best time of our lives.
Crafting a band with 4 people is always going to be a good time. It's very busy.
Lots of cool bands on tour. Lots of cool people in different states. It's like a different world going there, so you know, it's always cool, like getting to experience something new. We have a great music scene, so I mean, people come together really easily, and it's nice. It's nice. A lot of other places don't have what we have here, so it's a thing.
Gate, Wade Taylor, and I do vocals for Atoll.
The absurdity has always been like what's pulled you to it, like, and that's what I like about metal. Is we're pushing that extreme, we're pushing that taboo, and so we wanted to explore not only the horrors and the graphic nature of it, but also like the absurdity and the levity on the other side of it. So, it's like a comic book. It's got our brutal death metal logo up there. It's got a bunch of people getting torn apart, and then it's kind of very comic-y, like Fallout Frenzy, like that was something we really wanted to do. We wanted to kind of show the two sides of it. Plus, there's a hidden penis on 2 out of the 3 artworks. Like fucking animals destroying humanity. Like that's what we want. The end of civilization via animals. It's just nerdy enough to be like, oh, all of these are kind of about animal attacks, minus Skinwalker. Skinwalker kind of calls back to our first album about human beings being the virus, human beings being the ones that are going to destroy human beings. So, very esoterically through the artwork, that's what we were trying to convey. But more than anything else, like we're a death metal band that plays fucking death metal riffs. And we like to joke around a little bit. We certainly love the brutality of it all. Wade loves talking about buttholes.
Atoll formed in 2014. It was like Chris, Nick, Neil, who else? Andy Luffy, and then it was this guy Tony Rodriguez, and he did vocals for Pyramia. So they started, and then Tony dropped out, and they got their vocalist Nick that was on Gathering Swarm. So they put that out on Amputated Veins' smaller label Ghastly Records. And then after that, Nick stepped down, and they got me to do vocals for Fallout Frenzy. And then that got released on Corehouse. Yeah, I did all the recording and mixing for that album too. So that was a good introduction into the band.
So then on the second album, we really kind of wanted to embrace the idea of what Atoll was. And, we really wanted to get to that like mutation, from like atomic testing and like the monstrosities and the horrors that come out of that. And at the same time, we also kind of wanted to explore like the levity of the whole thing, like the absurdity of it all is fucking hilarious.
I joined a few years ago. I don't remember the exact year, but my first show was at Vegas Death Fest with Atoll, and learned the songs a few months ahead of time and started practicing with the guys. And for a while there, we were a 3-piece guitar part. We had Neil with us. Our last album had just come out, and so I wasn't on that album, but I joined the band like right before it came out. So I hadn't really contributed anything writing with at that point until Zoopocalypse came out, and I actually got to write a song on there and contribute some of my parts in and out of there. So that was really cool. Playing shows in Arizona is cool. The local scene's really cool. You got a lot of other really good local bands. It's the most fun time you will ever have. You're never going to experience anything like playing in a death metal band, whether you're big or small. It's pretty much always just a giant party with friends when you're at a show, and I mean, who doesn't want that?
Chase from Blink Reaper. I've been booking shows in Arizona for a couple of years. I started out with a promotion company. I worked with the band Atoll. After a band reach out to me to book my show, and I gotta figure out where to put it, what's the best place to put it, everything's kind of mixed together. You know, like, if you go to metal shows, also go to punk shows, also go to hardcore shows, at least I do. And a lot of those bands will play on the same show. So it's, in a bigger city, I think it's a little bit more divided because there's a bigger crowd.
You know, because we just, everyone, it didn't matter. We didn't have, like, just the hardcore show. And sometimes you did, but you would have, like, a hardcore show with a metal band. And it was this cool, like, melting pot of groups out here. So I feel like there's a real cool community where you have shows where you have, like, a hardcore band, a death band, maybe a ska band, you know, or some weird instrumental band. They're all in the same show, you know? So I think it's a good place to grow up. I think there's a lot of really cool music here. I would describe how Arizona has affected our music is that it's just truly what we want. There's a freedom to it. There's a nastiness to it, just like Arizona. It's heavy. It's fun. It's not too serious. You know, it's just kind of like, it's like you're growing up with pipe bombs and blowing stumps out in the desert. That's kind of I'd say we're straightforward. You know, anything that's too complex, if we write anything that's too complicated, we don't use it. You know, I just want, my goal is to play live. I love to play live. And I want songs that are really fun to play live. And so I don't usually write anything that's too complicated. Just stuff that I can just have fun with. You know, when we play live. It's just real in your face, straightforward, simplified, and heavy. I just want, I want to write songs that can get the crowd moving, I want people to be able to headbang to it, feel it, and not get lost in songs that are really complex and constantly weird.
Nothing.